Like, you pour a glass of wine, you're like, all right, take a sip. Ah, that tastes kind of just fucking blah. Like, yeah, it's really tart.
For a little bit.
Yeah, it's like tart, and it's like really sharp on the tongue. It's like eating like the sharpest piece of cheese you ever, like fucking, like sharp ass fucking cheddar, but sharp ass fucking cheddar. You know? And then you swish it for a bit. You just like swish it, even like 10 seconds. You just like swish it. And you take another sip, and it tastes more like Gouda.
Huh.
Or like really good. Like,
I've never seen swishing do shit when I drink wine. I don't know.
It's made a difference to me. I've done it. Like I would take a sip of like a Zinfandel. I'd be like, oh, that's fucking goddamn. What's the word? I'm thinking dry. Dry is the word. It's like, holy shit, that's dry as fuck. Like, if you're drinking a liquid and you think that it's dry, holy shit, it's not refreshing at all. And then you just swish it.
Well, because I don't imagine they don't mix up. Like, they don't shake up the bottle, do they? Before they serve it.
No.
So they expect you to swish it yourself.
Exactly.
So everything that's all the layers that get separated out, especially if it's been sitting there for a long time.
Yep.
All the layers have been.
Yep.
We learned something today, and I'm kind of ashamed of that.
Why?
Because
every day should be a learning experience, Lee.
I want to remain ignorant. It is my right as an American citizen.
Yes! Oh, man.
I was actually feeling better. I don't know about it because I usually don't put mine in a glass. I get a $9 bottle, that's for me.
So, I just want to say this because you reminded me today. One of my really proud achievement today. I hate social justice warriors. Like, I don't actively
but they're
hate
trying
them.
to save you.
Fuck off, man.
We're basically all on the same page. By
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, on Reddit today, there was a guy who just immediately responded, social justice cunt, to some other dude. So basically, it started off with a joke. There was like some joke, blah, 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 and then somebody was like, oh, and then, like the Chief Justice, what was it? Commander-in-Chief, that's the word. He's like, oh yeah, then the Commander-in-Chief is going to sell amazing amounts of weapons over to the Saudi Arabians. And then some guy was like, I take offense to that. You're a fucking social justice cunt. And I was like, wait a second, what? This had nothing to do with social justice in the first place. Whether or not Trump wants to sell amazing amounts of weapons over to a Middle Eastern country has nothing to do with social justice. It doesn't.
Well, no, what it's doing now is because the counterculture, the social justice warrior being the counterculture,
yes,
is now shifting. So the countercultural against the social justice warriors is beginning to become just.
I would say it started peaked on the horizon about 2013, and we're now seeing where they've sort of it's reached saturation point where they're the moral standard now, which is weird because it's basically what it is. If you ever look up social justice, it's basically the same exact phrasing as social Marxism. It's basically just Marxism is what it is. We're going to create equality among people, races, classes. It's like all this other stuff of economic scales. And it's like, okay, so you're just basically pushing Marxism. You just rebranded it. And now it's become integrated into company cultures. It's bizarre.
Yeah, Eddie talks about it all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He talks about it's like Bizarro Land. He'll be just...
dude, Canada. Canada's actually...
embraced it in a really weird
legal way. In a government overarching, I'm now everyone's like, let's move to Canada. I'm like, you're a fucking retard. One, you can't just move to Canada. Just because they're a hat doesn't mean you can just go there and stay there.
Holy
Secondly,
shit, dude.
They are now the social justice haven, kind of. Especially in Quebec.
Oh, man. I don't want anything to do with social justice people.
But they love you.
I don't need.
You disagree with
I don't need to love them. That's the problem.
They want to use you. You're their special minority that they can get to control.
Oh yeah,
they get to speak for you. You don't get to speak for yourself.
I think that's why Brian hates them.
You must let
I would get wager. I think we talked about this
rich white women tell you what to think.
Because you're an ethnic group. You have mental illnesses. You even have the physical nerve thing. Like they're just
I don't want them talking for me.
Exactly, and it's
I don't because they're fucking idiots.
But don't white people
most
know
people
better
I know
than
who
you?
Have anything like what you have? Even like Devin being autistic, hates anti-vaxxers. Like he's just like, how dare you like fucking say that vaccines cause autism? Like, and he's autistic. Most people who like are like minorities, like in like people like. Just with mental illnesses, they're like, no, you don't get to fucking speak for me. Especially people who have real, I'm not going to say real mental illness. I'm talking about people who are just aware of it and have been diagnosed clinically, and it's actually very much a part of their life.
Yep.
People don't like you speaking for them because they don't want you to be like, don't treat me like a fucking baby.
Like you heard it on BuzzFeed one day, and all of a sudden you make a Facebook fucking status about it.
I understand depression. Fuck you.
Exactly.
You don't understand shit.
No, you don't fucking know me, bro. You don't.
I mean,
like if I could even talk to you, I'd just be like, dude, calm down, because I'm calm. You're not calm. Like this person's like, oh my god, blah blah blah, social justice, blah blah blah. You shouldn't say that, blah blah blah. It's not cool to call people autistic, blah blah blah, or whatever, like whatever fucking word it is. It doesn't even fucking matter. At the end of the day, I'm still just like, shut the fuck up, shut up. Ugh.
Well, you know what's weird today? Like today, I got called a Trump supporter.
Because you didn't like taxes or something?
No, I got called a Trump supporter because I said on this, it was a Bernie Sanders subreddit, and I said, take 15 minutes out, go talk to your local Democrat, and find out whether or not your values match up with their policies. And I said, you won't agree with their policies. You won't agree with these people. And so they were like, I got a bunch of people downvoting me and going, and then I had one.
Remember what happened with Hillary?
And then I had one.
No, exactly. That's the thing. Is it's shit flinging from both sides.
And then I had
both sides are just flinging shit.
But here's the crazy part: is that the social justice warrior showed up and said, "It's like, well, you love Trump, and because you love Trump, and you're killing all the Muslims." And I look back through this person's history. It's just post after post after post of calling people bigots and anti-Muslim. And I'm like, dude, I voted for Jill Stein. I voted for Democrats for like 20, almost 2 decades now. And I'm sick of the Democrats for not actually supporting people, for not actually supporting any of the values that I care about as a person. And it's like, and you can't criticize the Democratic Party because you're somehow a Nazi now. It's like, what the
Eventually, people will just own the Nazi thing. And
that's the thing, is that on the flip side of this, if you criticize the Democratic Party, you're a Nazi, you're a bigot, you're a sexist, you're a homophobe, you're all of those words. If you criticize Trump's party, then you're like a bleeding heart, you're a social justice warrior, fucking like just, you're a feminist fucking cunt, and you just don't, you don't get like the common sense of the world, blah blah blah. But both parties could say that, and you see what I'm saying? Is like it's all fucking garbage. They're just shit flinging at each other.
Well, they're both authoritarian, parties, all telling us that if you have any kind of, if you're left leaning libertarian or right leaning libertarian, if you criticize those two right parties. Is what they are. They're 2 authoritarian parties. And you say, I'm pretty tired of every tax dollar going to war. I'm tired of, them increasing the F-35 Lightning, Joint Strike Fighter and adding $406 billion onto that program and, increase the cost of it by 27%. And like, why the heck can't we build our roads? Why do people in Flint don't have water that's potable, that's drinkable?
Yep.
That's insane to me that we can't have that. And if you criticize the authoritarian state, you're like some sort of thought criminal now.
Yeah.
And they're so invested in this authoritarian boot stamping, But one's wrapped in a rainbow. One fist is wrapped in a rainbow flag. The other fist is wrapped in a Confederate flag, and they're both punching us, saying, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Why don't you want to be free?"
Don't you love?
Good way to put it.
Don't you love and love freedom?
That's
God fucking damn it!
Cartoon. That doesn't make me want to vomit. That's an accomplishment. And I'm proud of you.
Now, see, yes. Oh man, I
can see that as like
I hate them using
it's
the protected minority. They use that as a shield so they can pummel you and say it's like, well, you need to protect the special minority. And it's like, what does that even mean? Because if you look, who the majority of unions are made up of black people and Latinos. So when you say you're anti-union, you're saying you're anti-black people and you're anti-union. And you say, are you pro getting homeless people off the streets, getting them a housing first program? 60% to 70% of the homeless population are gay. The youth population, is gay because they don't have a social safety net because they've been kicked out. So when they say, do you support, like social justice? Like, yes, real social justice.
yes.
Not this fake bullshit.
virtue signaling.
The virtue signaling nonsense that creates no real equality, creates no real peace, and everyone just picks in. Of course, the other thing now is that all these, white privileged people realize they're white privileged people, so they're doing their damnedest to become the special minorities. So they can say that I'm a special minority and that I can use myself as a shield, and if you criticize me...
It's like shirking guilt.
Yeah.
They're trying to shirk the guilt of being white.
Yeah.
I had an argument with this guy. He was like a diehard Hillary supporter, and his real justification behind it really was because she's better than Trump. And I got stuck in this argument with him, even knowing that Hillary was only just
marginally better.
Yeah, marginally better. Like, I got stuck in this argument with him about how, he's white as fuck. He was like the whitest motherfucking guy ever. And, me, like, I'm literally like 2/3 of me is not white. Like a third of me is Mexican, Hispanic heritage, and the other third is Native American. And here I was talking to him about, you don't need to fucking feel this white guilt. And he was like, yes, we need to feel white guilt. And I was like, are you fucking dumb? Stop for a second.
You get enough of it just opening a fucking history book.
Yeah. I mean, just don't do it again. Just don't do it again, man.
I did in school a little bit.
Here's the problem. You can't be a Hillary supporter and then claim that you have white guilt, considering how much she planned to go to war with brown people. How much she wanted to attack the Russians. How much she wanted to go to war in Syria. How much she wanted to go to war. You can't say that you claim that you figured it out, that you've got it on top, that you understand that you're white privileged. If you're white and you're privileged and you still want to vote for Hillary after you supposedly know that piece of information, then I got some news for you. You still haven't figured it out.
Well, here's the difference, is that we're talking about American brown people.
Well,
that's different from I guess.
Do they not count?
Middle Eastern brown people.
Do the Middle Eastern brown people not count?
No, they don't. They don't count. They don't.
I think they count.
Well,
I think they're people.
Guess what? I mean, you're probably, if you think that, you're still probably going to vote for Hillary over Trump anyways.
Well, I didn't. I voted for Jill Stein because she was...
I've got a bleeding heart.
I don't know. She was the only anti-war candidate. I'm no longer going to vote for war candidates. I just can't do it anymore.
But
I can't
still,
do it anymore.
On the opposite side of it, though, then you have this reactionary movement, this fucking reactionary force, which is the entire reason why Trump got elected in the first place. You got half of the American populace is white, and if you're telling them that they need to feel guilty for something, they're not going to listen to you. They're going to be like, what the fuck do you think I need to feel guilty for? I'm Larry the Cable Guy. The fuck do I need to feel guilty for? I'm just doing cable work.
Yeah.
And I come home and I eat some bacon. You think I need to feel guilty?
It's like somebody who's like on a North Dakota farm, and they look around and they go, I never oppressed anyone. I'm just a farmer.
Or you're just some, you're just some guy living in, actually, it's funny. I'll segue a little bit, but
North Dakota is very good.
Like a Southern guy, his name is Catfish Cooley, and he's actually kind of funny. Look him up; he's actually brilliant. He actually has some words of wisdom that are really good. But he's like the Southern guy who lives in a double wide fucking mobile home on a little bit of property, and he talks about racism, and he's like, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you're going to work every day and you don't break too many damn laws, because I break a couple myself, and he just goes on about if you're feeding your fucking family and you respect the people around you, I don't give a shit if your skin is fucking black, brown, honey colored. I don't give a fuck. And you just listen to this Southern guy who you would automatically classify as racist. But then you realize that in the South, where there's a lot of impoverished black people,
yes,
there's also impoverished white people and impoverished Mexicans.
Many of them.
And then you go to other parts of these southern states, like the Ozarks, where you have a lot of impoverished white people. And then it's so you're just okay, we don't have an impoverished black people problem, we have an poverty problem.
Yes.
Well, I mean...
and it's all these gay kids are homeless. So we don't have a gay kid homeless problem, we have a homeless problem.
My Name is Earl. You ever seen that show, My Name is Earl?
Masterpiece.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's such a fucking awesome show. So there's Earl, he's this fucking guy who just lives in a hotel room because he's fucking poor as hell. He won the lottery one day. I mean, it wasn't even a lottery. He scratched a scratcher or something.
It was 10,000.
Yeah, it's woo!
It's $1 million, I think.
No, it was less. It was 100,000.
Something like that.
Whatever.
It was woo, I don't get to work for 5 years. And we'll be fucking broke again. Anyways, so yeah, you got Earl who just lives in a fucking hotel room, and I guess they're just letting him live there because he doesn't have income. Yeah, so but then you also have Crabman,
He's the only one on that show that has a job.
He really does.
He works at a fucking...
And he's taking care of somebody else's kids.
He does.
No, wait, hold on.
Yeah,
he is. And
Literally,
Crabman's a nice guy.
No.
He's a nice guy. He doesn't steal anything. Everybody else steals shit. They're oh, this is just mine. I'm going to take it. And they just pick up whatever the fuck it is. They're I'm just going to drive this car because... you got Crabman. He's just I'm a good dude. He's got his fucking fro going. He's yeah, I work in the crab shack.
He is the Crabman.
Says the writers wanted...
He's ascended from the impoverished humanity into his own being.
Well,
celestial light.
His fro is an antenna for enlightenment.
He's just a representative of how somebody doesn't need to be a piece of shit just because they're born into it. It happens all the time. It happens so often. In California, there is this one of the best fathers I ever met was this kid in California. He found a job when he was about 16 years old because he accidentally had a fucking child. He was just but he was also a football star at his school. He's a football star at his school, found a job, accidentally had a kid, maintained all of it. He kept it all fucking going. He went to practice, went to his job, kept fucking care of his woman and his child. He just fucking kept it going. He's black as fuck. He grew up in the most poor ass motherfucking house. He lived right next door to me, and if his mother heard me tell him this, he'd be she would just say, "Thank you, you're doing my child justice by saying it about now." And
then
that's a fucking burden, man.
We get so dishonest about this stuff though, because when it's just this, those people that kind of cling on to this nebulous. They don't have any of these stories of real people. So they just get, they get the white guilt, and it just piles on, and it piles on. And there's real, he has approximately 100 homeless people. If we actually...
Is that all?
Yes. Yes, that really is.
You know what? I bet you I know half.
We have a population of 200,000.
Yeah.
Why don't some of those social justice warriors come together and we get this sorted out? It's like 100 people? We can't figure out how to get 100 people off the streets.
No, hang on a second. I'm going to tell you real quick that those 100 people, most of them don't necessarily even...
Well, because the system stiffs them.
No, it's not that. I'm sorry, but I'm telling you from the inside out here, because like I stay at the shelter. I've stayed at the shelters. I was at one of the day shelters today to eat lunch.
They always to kick you out, don't they?
No.
Well, I mean, eventually you can't stay there all day and all night, right?
Well, yeah, they say you gotta like wander the streets for the day, and then you can come back and take a nap.
Yeah, but have you ever heard of Housing First? Housing First programs?
No, I've never heard of this.
I think I've told you about this maybe once.
Housing First essentially says that the policy of a city is to essentially reach out to every homeless person in that city and figures out how to get them into a place that they can live.
No, that's never happened to me. Not even once.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not in every single city.
I've spoken to...
We're building up. Like, they have a single site they're building right now. They put some money into it, but it's they're building it. It's taking a while. But okay, so like Salt Lake City, they were able to take 80% of their homeless population off the street.
That's nice.
Yeah. That's what we should be doing. Because that's what people should... They should take care of their neighbors. I have all those people out there I can't help. That I know that we can come up with a system that would help people.
Was it subsidized?
It's partially subsidized.
So they just paid like $100 a month for a house?
Well, no, I mean they also get you get access to healthcare, mental health services.
Okay, so you pay $100 a month for a house and also healthcare and all this other shit.
No. You just pay like subsidized rent. And
that's what I'm saying.
But you're basically given training wheels, so that if you're somebody who's really off, that they can bring you back into reality, because all of the data points to the fact that
that's important.
Is stability. Housing stability is the most important factor in creating functional people who can actually choose their own trajectory in life. And
I will agree with that. Yes.
But the problem is we have this kind of catch and release program with the way the homelessness programs usually work.
I get what you're saying now.
So the
totally
idea is to basically give you stability, because they find out that if people are stable, they get off. They start getting off the drugs, because then they have a house over their head, they have access to food, water, shelter, all that other stuff.
Health improves.
And it saves the city significant amounts of money.
It's not so much about health. It's about just discipline. It's about having discipline about your life.
Well, okay, so the health part is actually part of the money problem.
Yeah.
So, for instance, on average in Salt Lake City was $22,000 a year for each homeless person, because they would get sick because they'd be exposed to the elements. They'd go to the hospital, and the hospital can't bill a fucking homeless person.
Right.
Like, what are they going to do? Like, take your shitty shoes? Like seriously?
No. There's thousands of dollars that are just getting
what the
wasted
state
because
did.
Homeless person is like, I'm having another attack, and it's like, and then the EMTs show up and they're like, are you all right? Yeah, I guess I'll be fine. You have a cigarette, and it's fucked up. It's a whole fucked up situation.
Exactly. Also, criminal activity. So like breaking the law just so you get 3 hots in a cot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit like that.
No. Because loves it when you're like, fuck, I'm a fuck up. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna fuck up. And you fucked up. You go to a place where people fuck up. And it's like, here you go to jail. Guess what? Now it's like you're just stuck in jail.
So I'm gonna go ahead and guess. Do you have a social safety net? Do you have people you can go to? Like a family member? Do you have... I'm just guessing. Am I wrong?
No. I mean, as in, are you wrong? What's the question? I don't have that.
Like, do you have a support network you can go to?
I have a car that I could sell.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is because if you look at the statistical data for most homeless people, they don't have a social safety net.
Nope.
Because that's what when I became that close to being homeless. The difference is I had a social safety net.
Yep.
I have family members that save my butt.
Now, here's the thing, is that actually I feel that every American should go through a portion of homelessness. You know, just like everybody says, oh, you should go through, like, you know, a year of just doing retail. Yeah. So you know what retail is like.
I've thought of a couple of jobs that everyone should do when you're 18 to 20 years old. There are 3-4 types of jobs you should do. You should do
retail. You
should do McDonald's. You should do call center work. You should do retail, and then maybe pick another shitty job, because those shitty jobs will not only teach
general
you
labor.
There you go.
General labor.
A little bit of hard labor does you a little good.
Yes,
so
it
you
does.
learn, one, the value of hard labor, and you never look down on blue collar people, because they're literally the backbone of society.
Like that guy who fixes your yard. You should actually probably give him a sandwich.
You learn to communicate over a phone.
Fucking sandwich. Just because you got the shit to make a sandwich, just be like, "Hey, dude, you fixed my yard. You want me to like order you a pizza?"
You treat people well.
It's like, I got $5. We're gonna order pizza for you. You just like fix my sprinklers. Shit.
And then, like,
yeah.
Call center work, you learn to communicate over the phone. You also learn what a call center agent has to go through every fucking day. Like, you know, like, why can't you do that thing? Well, there's probably 1,000 different policies out there.
Because I get fired.
Exactly. And we can't say that. And then, of course, McDonald's, because it's the bottom of the rung work, but at the same time,
or Taco Bell,
you learn that, like, how you treat people is important to others. Because when you're on the other end of that counter and somebody gives you that shitty fucking dirty look because you're a fucking peasant, you realize that you should never treat somebody like that. This should humanize you in a way that you're like, okay, so I've worked at McDonald's. I don't get mad at people at McDonald's unless they're really fucking fuck-ups. It also allows you to identify a fuck-up. Because a 16-year-old kid who makes a mistake, he's 16. What the hell do you want from that kid? But when you have a 25-year-old kid who's just lazy, and you can see the laziness, you see the apathy, you're like, get your shit together. You fuck. You're 25. What the hell are you doing? If you can't even perform at this fucking job, what the hell are you going to do with the rest of your life? And then you get really mad. Anyway, and then
I'm not, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to judge people who work at, like, because
I get mad at certain people.
I don't know. I've done enough customer service work that I'm just like, you know, don't spit in my food. That's about my only request. And hopefully get it out in a timely manner. And then I will just...
Exactly, and that's what you should...
I please and thank you my way through it, because it's like... Yeah, it sucks to do customer service and to have to...
So it's like, why shit on somebody unnecessarily? Why wasn't it out 5 minutes faster than I thought it would be? I'm like, just because you expected it to be fast doesn't mean it's going to be fast.
It's all bad food anyway, so shut up and just take it.
If you're in a rush, you should have packed a lunch, you dumb bitch. There's just these jobs make you look on the other side of the wall and go, oh, I get why that guy can't do that, or why this person can't do this, or why it took so long. You understand that maybe a cook fucked up, or maybe there's been outages in an area, or whatever, and you learn to understand that you can't just fucking scream at people to get your way.
Except for parking people. Screw parking people. They can burn. They can burn all in hell.
Parking people?
The meter maids and the people that
they like get paid so much better than everybody else does.
Yeah, they get nice.
They also, they have to deal with the general populace constantly breaking rules. And they're rules that they don't set, but they still have to enforce them.
No, this is the thing, is that they don't ever have to really deal with the public on a daily basis. Like, except for that one time, like once a week, they're going to have some guy who's like, no, you're not going to give me a parking ticket.
That's all it takes is once. That could be once a month, and I would remember that guy for the rest of my life.
And it's like, well, I'm sorry, but I'm given authority by the city, and I'm required to give you this ticket. He's like, no, I'm not going to take it.
You parked in a handicap spot, you fuck.
Like, I don't even have to... No, you see, this is the thing, is that parking people know you don't argue with them because they don't argue with you. You're just yelling at them. That's it. They don't stop and argue with you. They're just like, no, actually, you're parked in a handicap parking spot. There's a ticket that's being written. It's a citation. If you don't take the piece of paper, it's still logged against your motherfucking license plate. You gotta pay that.
I don't know. My
bye,
problem,
sucker, and he just drives off in his little
dinky
ass fucking parking thing.
Well, see, I think that's coming from a special place.
Yeah, when I pay for 6 hours of parking and still end up with a $25 ticket, like.
Okay, well that's general incompetence, and that goes wheels back down to
that's not incompetence. That's by design. Because you'll basically you go out because you have to go out every 2 hours and like pay it, and and you'll come back by the end of that 6 hours.
That's really skeezy.
Yeah, you go, but because they're constantly cycling through, so you'll get like, oh, I'm late by 2.5 minutes, and they'll give you a ticket. And the first one does bother you. You're like, ah, shit. The fifth one, by the time you end up with like multiple